Welcome to My Forever Home, the podcast. I'm Frances Cosway and I've helped hundreds of people create forever homes. I can't wait to share the journey with you. So let's start. Hello and welcome to this episode of Your Forever Home, the podcast. This is the final episode of Bathroom Design Essentials. And after 18 episodes, it's an absolute joy, as well as a little bit sad for us to leave the bathroom design season. I certainly hope that you have obtained lots of helpful information to assist in the design of your bathroom. This episode I'm going to run through just what we've covered in the episodes in this season, just so we can recap on what we've gone through, what are some of the areas that we've covered, and which one you may want to quickly get to up your knowledge on a particular area that you're stuck on at the moment. We started the season with episode 69 of the podcast season with just the season overview, and that just gave you a bit of a snapshot in terms of what to expect in the season, what we were going to be doing, and the types of information that we were going to cover in the podcast season for bathrooms. Episode 70 took us to bathroom layouts, and that's where I actually had Fabi from the White Pebble Interiors team. We had a discussion around some of the biggest layout mistakes that we see people make. What were some of the layouts that we needed to, just layouts that we wanted you to be aware of. Some of the things that you needed to consider when setting up your layout. Where should your loo be? And just things to consider when you're actually laying out the plan of your bathroom. The next one we did was episode 71, and that was all about bathroom storage. My absolute, pivotal thing I think is that you make sure that your bathroom storage is adequate, and I'm passionate about making sure that any bathroom we design has got adequate storage. I mentioned it in subsequent episodes around bathrooms looking absolutely incredible, but just not living up to the expectations for them to be functional spaces with the fact that they didn't have adequate storage. So in this episode, we talked about how you can achieve your storage, what sort of areas you could achieve storage, whether it's at eye level, whether it's underneath with your vanities, the use of shaving cabinets, the use of shelves and shower niches. So if you needed to understand about how to maximise your storage, that's definitely the episode to head to. We then looked at, in episode 72, choosing your bathroom style and colours. And this is a real fun one. This is where we talked about how you actually create a design scheme. How do you build up the colours and the materials that you're going to use in your bathroom. And this is where we actually ran through, I talked about how we start with the leading piece and then we build up all the other elements that go into that bathroom from the leading piece. So I talk about the leading piece as an example. It could be, a tile that you're absolutely crazy about that you want to have in your bathroom, and that then forms the key piece that you need to then build all your other materials around. So if you want to get stuck into how to choose your materials, that's the episode to head to, number 72. Episode 73 of the Bathroom Design Essentials, we started talking about vanities. And this was really focused on custom vanities and how you go about designing the right vanity for your space. So we talked about floor stock and showroom vanities in a subsequent episode, but this one was all around the different types of vanities, whether they're floor mounted, whether they're floating, some of the advantages and disadvantages of those, how you can actually configure the combination of cupboards and drawers within your vanity, and we looked at some of the standard sizing that's available and some of the cabinetry materials. Not forgetting that in the kitchen design essentials season, the season before the bathroom one, there was a lot of in-depth information around benchtop types, different types of bench tops, why you may choose one over the other, and the same with cabinetry material. And so if you wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of the different material types, then it's best to head back to the Kitchen Design Essentials season, because that's where I covered those materials off in quite a lot of detail. Then we moved into episode 74, and that's when we talked about renovating your bathroom. And I think this, this is the impetus for doing this particular episode was we get asked a lot. So if we're going to do a renovation, how much do you think it's going to cost to do this, this and this? So what I covered off in that episode was what you can expect to achieve in your bathroom at the different price points. And I actually go through just a small cosmetic overview, a cosmetic change to something a little bit more structural, where there's a bit more structural elements going through all the way along to luxury style bathroom. So that's a great episode to give you an idea on how much things will cost and just how far your money will get you in terms of a renovation. Episode 76 was all about tiles, and I love tiles. In the studio, we just have so many tiles, and it was so awesome to talk about tiles with Richard Earp, who is one of the directors of Earp Brothers, who are a leading tile provider of high-end tiles in Australia. And so he is such a passionate man about tiles, and it was just delightful to chat to him around different tile types, different materials, what you need to look for in your tiling, why you'd actually spend, good money on getting a really decent quality porcelain tile. So if you're wondering, can I just get away with doing a $15 ceramic tile versus a $150 porcelain tile, I think definitely listen to that episode, because it's going to allow you to work out what's going to suit you best once you hear what Richard's got to say. I couldn't let Richard go, and so in episode 77, we had a really good conversation about grout. All you need to know about grout. Don't discount the fact that the grout in your tiling and in your bathroom can really make or break a job. And I know I reflected on a job that we didn't manage all the way through. The client picked it up after a particular amount of time, and they managed it all with the builder. They were liaising with their builder, and it was a little bit sad to go back at the end of that project just to see that the grout colour was not right with the tile, the thickness of the grout was not great, and the type of grout that had been used was not great either. And it meant that a really superior tile, really beautiful high-end tile, had been combined with, I suppose, not the best workmanship, but also just the wrong grout colour, and how it really affected the overall look of that job. She certainly wasn't happy. And so listening to episode 77 is going to give you really good insight into grout and the different types of grout available. Not all grout is the same. It might sound like it's a little bit of a boring topic, but boy, oh boy, is it going to really create the difference between a really good finish and a really substandard finish. So again, Richard is so passionate about grout, and I think it'll just enable you to really have a great conversation with your tiler so that you're getting a really good finish with your grout. Episode 78 then took us to taps and showers, and this is where I had subsequent episodes with the lovely ladies from Reese, Tricia and Catherine, and they are, a world of knowledge, and Reese is obviously all over Australia, and so we had a great discussion about taps, different types of taps and showers, what are some of the key buying criteria, what's the construction of a really good quality tap, what's the construction of a poor quality tap. And so that is an episode that you really want to make sure you listen to before you go out and buy your taps or your showers, and it will also enable you to ask the right questions in the showroom. Same with going down to episode 79, where again I'm chatting with the ladies from Reese around choosing your toilet. Who thought that choosing a toilet could be such an interesting topic, really? So there we discussed the different types of toilets, the really high-end toilets that people are going for, what's now becoming a standard. So the higher toilet height is now really becoming a standard because it's just so much more comfortable, and it also is going to future-proof your bathroom because it's just that little bit higher for when you're less agile. So that's a great episode. I direct lots of people to that one if they're, wanting to know all they need to know about toilets. Episode 81 then took us to all about baths. So the obvious things like your freestanding bath, what's some of the buying criteria that you need to understand when choosing a freestanding bath, when not to choose a freestanding bath. But then we also just talked about inset baths, the different type of bath finishes, which is quite important when you're thinking about, is this bath going to be used by young children? Is it going to be scratched a lot? So understanding the different types of baths and how they're finished it is a really good consideration to make sure that you're going to choose the right one for your home. Then we went to episode 83, and that was all about basins. We talked about the different basin finishes again, the different sorts of shapes available, what makes a really good quality basin, what are they made out of, and also the buying criteria, but also just some of the jargon around, what's a semi-inset, semi-recessed, undermount, above counter. There's so many different types available. So just getting the jargon right will really help you when you go into the showroom. So wanting to know about basins, head to episode 83. Episode 84, we were talking again with the ladies from Reese about showroom vanities, and they have come such a long way since the days of yore. You can get some incredible showroom vanities, and we talked about when you choose a showroom vanity over a custom design and just some of the components that are customizable within the showroom vanities that you would get off the showroom floor at a place like Reese, for example. There's also brands that we spoke about that are completely customizable, from the likes of Zusta with their Izzy range, and so that's a great one when you're really wanting to compare the custom vanities with episode 73 versus showroom vanities, which is episode 84. Sometimes it's not as cost effective getting a showroom vanity as may be the case. Again, it's going to come down to your material type, the customizable components with it, and just the overall finish and design. But there's certainly a plethora of designs available, really wide range, and some beautiful ones out there too. Episode 85, I had another guest from Est Lighting, James, and we had such a great chat about bathroom lighting. Now, James is so passionate about lighting, and so I just get so excited when I'm talking to someone that is so passionate about their topic. And for those of you who followed me for a long time, you'll know that I'm a bit of a lighting geek, and it is certainly something that I know makes such a big difference to how a space feels, how it looks, but also how it performs. And James and I really get into, some of the amazing alternatives that are available for you when you're looking at your bathroom lighting, how you can avoid downlights, get something that's going to look really incredible, give you some really beautiful mood and accent lighting. And he gives you some really good examples in that episode number 85 of really good alternatives that you can use. So some really creative, juicy bits in there in that episode for bathroom lighting. So if you want to break the mold and move away from the downlights, which I thoroughly encourage you to do, then that's the episode to head to. Episode 86, I get my passion hat on and I talk about the importance of internal elevations and how it can absolutely make or break your design. It can actually make or break the relationship with your builder. It can make or break your budget. And so in that episode, I talk about what internal elevations are, how they can really help you, where the heavy lifting in the design actually occurs at that stage, and just why they are so important, and how really, if you're not going to invest in them up front, you're just kicking that investment, that can down the road, because you'll end up paying for it one way or another by not getting them done. So episode 86 is all about internal elevations. episode, and that's really the drawings. I should clarify. Sometimes I get a little bit into my jargon, so I need to knock that out of myself. Internal elevations are the drawings. It's actually going to show not only an aerial and floor plan view of your bathroom, but it's also going to show you that front-on view. So all the minutiae and detail is in the drawings that we call, as designers, internal elevations. Episode 87 then takes us across to bathroom decorating, the fun stuff. After choosing all the colours and the shapes and the materials and getting it designed, right at the end is the bathroom decorating, which is such fun when we get our towels and our plants and all sorts of accessories. And I really go through all the different sorts of things that you can do to decorate your bathroom and just make it a bit fun, and how you can change things around, add different types of colours and patterns and so forth in all the accessories and things that you can add to your bathroom that not only look lovely but serve a function as well. And you guessed it, I talk about plants in that episode. Episode 88, I then get into powder rooms, which is another one that is really passionate for me, about how we can use powder rooms and make them a lot more fun. We can create a lot of wow factor in our powder rooms, and how we can sort of break away from perhaps what is going on in the rest of the home. And so I give you some examples in that episode of some things that you can think about and incorporate into your powder room that you may not want to do in the rest of the home, and how a lot of our clients are using their powder room as an opportunity to create some wow, some talking points, and to really create a sense of fun in that space. So I'll give you some examples on how to do that. Episode 89. This came in right in at the end, actually. I certainly didn't talk about it in the season overview right at the start of the season, but I felt that it was becoming quite topical, and I felt that also we were talking a lot more to our clients about accessibility and incorporating that into the bathroom design. So in that episode 89, I do talk about accessibility in terms of thinking around, if you're less body abled, how you can make your bathroom still very accessible and workable and functional, and what some of the things that you can incorporate into the design right at the outset, but also some of the things that you can provision for, like grab rails, for example, that you don't necessarily want to have in your bathroom immediately, but if they are incorporated into the design and provisioned for, you know that when you may need those, you can get them installed really easily. Not only not costing you a bomb, but having the right infrastructure there to enable you to do it. And then last week, I talked about key mistakes to avoid when designing your bathroom. Now, this was a list of all the different things that I see happen, quite frequently, and how some of those mistakes can actually cost a lot of money to fix, or even more tragically, cannot be fixed at all unless you absolutely ripped everything out and started again. So that's a great episode. You might even want to start with that episode in terms of what are the mistakes that you can actually avoid up front, and make sure that you've got that completely covered off in your design. And then episode 91 is today, and that's the one I'm going through with you now, right at the end of our season. And it's been such a delight going through this season. I didn't actually expect that it would just be as big as what it is. It's almost, it has become as big as the Kitchen Design Essential season. Who knew that bathrooms was going to take up so many different episodes? But there is so much that goes into your bathroom, equally that goes into your kitchen, and I suppose there's more fittings and fixtures in a bathroom than what there are in kitchens. And so as I was going along recording this, even though it was all planned out, I thought, no, I have to talk about this, like accessibility, and I have to cover this off. I want people to get their creative juices on when they're designing their powder rooms. And so it sort of just evolved and got a lot bigger than what I initially anticipated that it would when we were planning this out. And so it is the end of the season, and it is a little bit sad for me to say goodbye to the bathroom design essentials season. I'm actually going to take a break for a while from the podcast. There will be some spasmodic episodes coming out, but in terms of a season, there won't be a season for a few weeks. And then we will be looking at new things. What I'd love from you though is if you have got topics or anything that you would like me to cover off in an episode or even a season, by all means let me know. I think one of the biggest things we get asked about now are mudrooms and laundries, and the amount of laundries that we see that are so badly designed with not an element of function in them, functionality considerations in them, is incredibly frustrating. So I'm definitely going to be covering off laundry design because I feel that it's so critical. Those spaces need to work so hard for us. And as you know, I am a massive functionality person. It's all about functionality in forthright. If it doesn't function properly, it's not good design, is a big mantra of mine. So by all means, send me an email at info@whitepebbleinteriors.com.au. Drop me an email. Let me know some of the topics you'd like me to cover. It's been absolutely wonderful to have the feedback from listeners, either contacting me on Messenger or email, or even contacting me personally on Book a Chat. And just letting me know how much it's helped them be able to create their bathroom. It's questioned a lot of things, which has just been wonderful. Don't forget, if you are in the throes of doing your bathroom or any other components of your forever home, that you can always reach out and book a chat with me, get direct access to my diary to work out how we can assist you, where you might be a little bit stuck and I can get you unstuck. There's initial consultations that we offer, either remotely or face-to-face. And we offer so many different types of fixed price packages that suit and support you in exactly the areas that you feel that you may need the best support. So with that, I'm going to bid you farewell to this Bathroom Design Essentials season. And thank you so much for listening. And I certainly look forward to having you here listening again on the next episode of Your Forever Home, the podcast. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of My Forever Home. If you're ready to renovate or build a new home and you need help to create a beautiful and functional forever home, you can book a chat with me directly at whitepebbleinteriors.com.au/chat. Have a great day.